So here we are, 2024. Top 3 dogs you've ever had.
Well, there's probably more than top 3.
Nope. You only get 3.
Well, Barbie, for sure.
Yeah.
Maker's Mark was a really memorable dog. And of course, my current, Stella, Indy, those are some of my favorites.
Yeah.
I've got Truly, but Truly's just she's the sweetest dog, Indy, she's my hot mess. And then Stella, she's a beast.
Yeah.
She's just a beast.
Yeah, she's a little refrigerator.
She is. And not just appearance-wise. I mean, just temperament-wise, She's 10 foot tall and bulletproof. And she thinks she just thinks she's all that.
She shows like that.
And she does.
Yeah,
she
yeah.
Does.
And when you handle her, she handles like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you really got to show her, listen, I need you to do this.
She's such a confident dog.
She's very confident, but she's very strong-willed.
Yeah.
And you better know what you're doing when you put your hands on her.
Yeah.
You've had that experience with
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. Now, I will say, Indy, they were also different. Mark was kind of, he was more laid back, and he would do whatever you wanted him to do. He didn't love doing it, but he was a really nice hound.
Yeah, he would embarrass you.
Yeah, well, Locked and Loaded was the one you.
Yeah, I never forget when, oh man, how many times the Locked and Loaded stepped off of me and I had it won. And
you never knew which lock was going to show up.
Oh.
He was horrible. I don't have any one particular thing I learned.
Yeah. Yeah, you just learned a lot.
Multitude of things.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning. And anybody that says they quit, then they don't need to do it anymore because you never stop learning.
Yeah.
And that's another thing through the years. A lot more people are showing AKC now. And showing AKC is quite different than showing
Oh, yes.
UKC.
Oh, I can agree to that.
Yeah. I mean, you're not on a bench. You're on the ground. You're asking about things I've learned? Okay. Ground movement has gotten to be more and more important. Not just for me, for everybody,
And it should be.
Absolutely.
But I don't think we should be running them.
No, you're right there.
You're out there to see a dog track.
Well, I was watching some of the comments after Westminster this year, and that was one of the biggest complaints that was on there, was that these people were moving their dogs too fast. Slow them down, You know
why they're moving dogs fast? A lot of them hide faults.
Well, that's true, too.
You can hide a lot of faults when you move a dog fast.
Or you can show up faults, too.
Yes, you can.
Either way.
It can have that effect on either or. But this, like I said, this is not a pony show. No. We don't need to be out there parading like a bunch of ponies.
Well, if you're doing it right in the woods, they're not running 15 feet in front of you either, So keep your dog next to you, I think my opinion, it's gotten a little too fancy.
Well, I tell you, one thing I saw that aggravated me, and I remember I had a very nice lady come to me before a really big event, and she gave me a lot of help. But then she made me a nervous wreck because she stressed me out so bad because the difference between AKC and UKC is huge, and especially in handling.
And not always big things, it's little things.
It's small little details about, okay, but you got to keep your hand here and you got to move each foot with one hand. Folks, I'm used to reaching on there, setting my dog, boom, he's stacked. Well, I tried changing it up, and remember how badly I performed? It wasn't even on the dog, It was me. I messed the dog.
Well, because you hadn't practiced doing it the other way.
Right.
I know over time doing it because you learn anything.
And then I ended up luckily getting through.
Yeah.
And then I came back to you, and I was in the late, I'm not gonna say her name, but I never forget you coming to the truck because I was so disappointed in myself.
You were stressed.
I was stressed out because I knew what kind of dog I had, and I knew I let her down. And I was so stressed, and I said, Mom, I don't care who I make mad. I said, by God, I'm gonna go in there in that final ring, and I'm gonna do it my way.
Yeah.
And then I met the best judge.
Yep.
It worked out so good because it brought that confidence back, and he looked at me and he said, these are show dogs. He said, this is not a confirmation dog, this is a bench dog.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when that man told me that. The minute he said that, folks, I went boom, boom. I stacked my dog, Stella threw up there. He said, all right, take off. And we went down and we had a good down and back, and we didn't have a perfect stack. But you know what? You didn't have to have that perfect stack. She showed who she was.
Yeah.
And he picked her.
Yeah, she won.
And it was amazing. And I will say, you remember I've won World, Walker World. I've had some amazing wins over the years. But that one moment, going from completely defeated early in the day, wearing a suit and tie, something that you know me.
It's foreign to you.
I don't wear a suit and tie. Completely defeated, to you coming back to the truck, coaching me and telling me, Jason,
be all right.
you'll be all right.
Be all right.
And finally I said, well, I'm going to do it my way. And I did it my way, and we won.
Yeah.
And you know, folks, if I'm going to say anything.
And what did the judge tell you? That is the prettiest Walker dog I've ever seen.
He said, that's the prettiest Walker dog I've ever seen, and you've done a good job.
And he had judged hounds previously.
He was a black and tan judge.
Yeah.
He raised black and tans previously, and he also was a judge in UKC, and I wish I remembered his name, daggone it.
Good fella.
Wonderful, but it gave me all the confidence, and it carried over into a steamroll with Miss Stella.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about Stella.
She's a trip now.
So our first, this is kind of funny, we could talk about this too, going from the AKC to that. Well, you pull Miss Stella out, and she's a puppy.
Yeah.
And we're at Autumn Oaks, and I'm not there to show a dog.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot of experience on a dog gating as far as moving them on the ground in conformation, because it is different. It's a different ball game.
Definitely.
You don't put them on a bench. There's nothing there. You're on the ground.
Yeah.
You talked me into showing Stella. She was how old?
Oh, she was a little over a year and a half. Well, let's see. She was under a year the first year at Autumn Oaks.
And we're talking about second wins, stunning, and stilettos.
Right. And so this was the following year. And yeah, so she was a little over a year.
So Stella was a year old, and I never forget you saying, Jason, you need to show her. Jason, you need to show her.
And you did not want to show confirmation.
I didn't want nothing to do with confirmation. And then I looked over there, and it was two judges I've never met.
Right.
And you and I talked about this. And this is something that I'll openly discuss with anyone that ever wants to hear it. You and I went back, and we talked about it. And I said, Mom, I don't know the judges. And she said, you said, neither do I. I said, let's try it. I like taking a chance on a judge I don't know. Because I feel like at times you have a better chance.
There's no politics
There's no politics, you know, and that's something we'll dig into in a little bit. But, you know, we go in there and we win. And we win. And we win.
She beat some nice dogs, too.
And then we get into the finals. And I am sitting there with a dog that was previously in Westminster, the Plot Hound.
Yep.
And I am sitting there out of my room again, and I'm shaking like a leaf, and we freaking win it.
Yeah. At
Autumn Oaks, we win confirmation. So then we win the confirmation. And you remember my face? I could not believe it.
Oh, I know.
I went, what? I couldn't believe it, you know, and she was a baby.
She showed her little butt
She
off.
showed her heart out.
Yeah, she did.
So that's when it all really started with Stella.
Right.
Is at the 2022 Autumn Oaks.
Yeah.
Is when she really showed who she was.
I showed her in class the year before.
I've been asked a question. I've been asked this question multiple times. Well, y'all won the confirmation show. How come y'all didn't show her that weekend? Well, Mom, let's tell everybody, Ben, they don't know, why we didn't show her and how honest we are.
She came in heat.
That night.
Yeah, yeah. And so we sat down and talked about it that day and said we just can't do it.
We chose being honest.
Yeah.
Than hiding it, folks. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of people in this world that's got to hide things. We ain't got to hide nothing.
No.
We ain't got to hide nothing, and we chose not to win like that.
Yeah.
I told Mom, and there was people that came to us and said, oh, no. I told Mom, and did I not?
Yeah.
I told you, I said, we are not winning like this.
No.
Because I don't want to ever have that on my name. That, oh, well, he entered the ring, and he also cheated. So we had a great showing at Autumn Oaks. We were so proud. She comes in the heat. We get to show her on Friday.
Right.
It broke our hearts. We done the right thing.
Right.
And I'm proud of both of us.
Right.
To see her that day and be able to say to that camera, you really want to know why we didn't show her? That's why we didn't show her.
Then you showed Rockin' Champions.
Oh, man. Woo! So then I had Rockin' Rocco there. Brian Miller owns Rockin' Rocco. And I showed Rockin' Rocco there. I got to show him under Eric Brooks in the first round.
Then he went over.
And then I advanced and I showed under Danielle Champ. Then we go on and we win Champion Male with Rockin' Rocco. And I mean, I am going, oh my gosh. And
it was a good week.
it was a special moment. For those who don't know about the story of Rocco, there's a little bit about that goes into why that win was so special.
And Stella's mama, which is Rocco
Yeah.
And Stella's mama, Sienna, are litter mates.
That's right. So Rocco and Stella's mama are litter mates.
Yep.
And then previous to that, we just lost our late Larry Cisco.
Larry Cisco.
And when we lost Larry Cisco, that was a hard one.
Well, Larry owned those 2 dogs. There's a whole backstory to that, which is too long to go into.
Yeah, it's too long to go into. Previous to Autumn Oaks, we just lost Mr. Larry. And then when we win that, Mr. Larry's wife was there, and she got to experience it. Yeah. Brian was there. I mean, it was just an amazing win. What a weekend.
And Van Belkom's, Mr. Van Belkom had passed too.
Oh, gosh. So not only did that win mean a lot to us, but previous to that, we lost Mr. Van Belkom. Just a wonderful man. Yeah. And we lost Mr. Larry Cisco. Yeah. And I'll never forget both their wives being there.
Yeah.
Remember what a moment that was?
It was. And both of those families were tied into those 2 dogs.
Yeah, that's what makes it so special.
Yes.
Is both families were tied into those dogs.
And I have Sienna back.
Yeah.
Which is Stella's mama. Brian's got Rocco. Yeah. And I have got Classy, which is Rocco's sister.
Right.
You know, so, I mean.
It just, wow. It's
just crazy.
It's crazy, and what a win that was. Then we went on a spree. You won Grand American. Winter Classic.
Yep.
Opposite sex at South Carolina.
Southeastern. We won champion at Southeastern.
Southeastern. We win champion at Southeastern. Florida State.
Won overall.
You win overall at Florida State. What do you do, and how does it feel to have that caliber dog and to breed, to know that you have bred that caliber dog?
Sometimes I just, sometimes it just doesn't even seem real, you know. And then I'll see a dog, like I was just looking at a picture of Ruger the other day, and he looked
Tiffany Atkins. Tiffany Atkins, All-American Ruger.
Yeah, and I was looking at a picture of him the other day, and Tiffany, she had called me on the phone, and she said, "Janis, you made that. You made it." And that's when it kind of hits me.
That's when it really.
I mean, I get goosebumps because I think about all these beautiful dogs, how pretty they are and how gorgeous, and that I raised those babies, I made them.
Well, and how special is it? I know it, because I've heard this a lot, and I see it a lot. It's when people reach out and they go, "Thank you, Miss Janis."
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Miss Janis. And y'all don't understand what that means to someone.
Well, it's humbling to begin with. It's so humbling, and I don't ever get a big head about things.
Right.
I don't like attention directed at me, but it is very humbling when somebody loves an animal. To me, that's the most important thing. If they get it and they love it and they treat it well, they give it a good life, that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. You want to go fishing?
Well, he can come up here and say hi.
Yeah, he covers that. I love this river, folks. We're on the Santa Fe River, and it's a place that holds a lot of memories for me and my family, and we spend a lot of good times out here.
And right down from here, the Swanee and the Santa Fe meet. Yeah. So they're both just beautiful, beautiful rivers.
Don't come here. This place, it's eat up with mosquitoes.
Yeah, you don't need to come. Alligators everywhere.
Alligators, there's thousands. Yeah. Thousands of alligators. If you see, there's 300 or 400 heads right behind. But, so one of the nice things also that I'll kind of say about some of Stella's wins, and to me, it's very important. Right. Stella's winning under judges that's never seen her. Right. And judges we've never met.
Yeah, and that's really important.
That Winter Classic win, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. We went there not having any idea. We'd come off a big win, Grand American, and we had no idea there. We were like, oh my gosh, And what I mean by idea, folks, is you kind of get the feel after doing this 25 plus years of doing this. Mm-hmm. You kind of learn what judges like, and that's what I mean when I say that.
Well, and then you have people come up to you and they'll say, oh, this judge picked such and such a dog, and that's the kind of dog she likes, so she's probably not going to pick what you have.
And don't think we don't do our research and look at what judges are picking.
That's exactly right.
I mean, I'm telling you right now, folks, if you think that this isn't like baseball, we don't play our cards, we're playing them. And some folks say, well, I saw this on Facebook the other day. This was a good one. Someone said, well, they shouldn't post the judges at all.
I saw that.
I'm going to tell you this right now, because when I saw it, you and I really had the same reaction. I'm not driving 14 hours to get screwed.
That's right.
I'm being honest.
Or
Or
not even necessarily screwed. Just the fact that daggum well this
He does.
judge likes a different type of dog, so why drive that?
Well,
far?
I'm not driving 14 hours and knowing daggone well that man likes a black and tan. Even if my dog hits all its traits,
Yeah.
he's going to pick that black and tan if it even hits standard.
Yeah.
And there is some folks out there like that.
Well, I like knowing the judges.
I love knowing the judges. I think if you know the judges, what's the big deal?
Now, I don't necessarily agree that you have to post it 6 months in advance, like that comment
No.
said. But a little advance notice is always good. That way you can plan.
I think it's good to plan. I mean, I think it's good to plan and kind of good to know where you can stand, where you go, and what to expect at times.
Now, there's been other times where I had no idea what a judge liked, and I just said, cast my fate to the wind. I go, and if I win, I win. And if I don't, that's okay. But when I got to drive, 12 hours or so and spend $1,000 getting there, I want to know that I got at least a shot.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, there's some, there's a lot of drama in the show world, and you've been really good about staying out of it.
I don't.
How do you stay out of it?
Well, I've never called a judge in advance ever.
Yeah.
Wouldn't ever.
Right.
If I don't want to win. I do not want to win because a judge is doing me a favor or picking me because they owe me or whatever the story is. I want to win because I've got the best dog out there. I asked somebody in another breed one time, why don't you show Walker dogs? And she said, well, it's easier to win with another breed. And she said the other breed, but it's not important. And I said, yeah, but I don't want to win because it's easy. I want to win because I've got the best.
But, my question to her answer would be, if you're winning another breed, are you still beating the Walkers?
And generally not.
There's your answer. And so that's not, all you're doing is putting a Band-Aid on.
Now, don't get me wrong, there's some gorgeous black and tans, there's some gorgeous red bones.
All breeds. Well, I mean, to me, and I'm going to say this straight out, Andy Alburn's been a rough competitor. Hard to beat.
She's got some beautiful dogs.
She has, and I say that as a complimentary way.
Do you remember how many years we've shown against Andy?
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember way back? I don't even remember was it in Waycross, Georgia? Where was that at? We went that time, long time ago.
That was Waycross, Georgia.
It was Waycross.
They had the Hog Bay at Waycross, Georgia. That's where we met Andy Alburn, and I do believe Gerald Black was judging it.
Could have been.
I think he was judging it.
That was long.
That's many years ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, they had it there at the old arena.
Yeah, Andy probably remember that.
Yeah, Andy will probably remember that. And big shout out to Andy. She has just done an outstanding job with Red Bones.
Yep.
I mean, what a great example she sets.
Yep.
For everybody, not just in Red Bones, but for everybody. Good attitude. Yep. When she loses, she'll come over to you and she'll shake your hand, give you a hug. Always a good sport.
Yep, I agree.
Good sport, and there needs to be more of that.
Shout out to Andy.
Shout out to Andy. I like old Andy. She's a good person.
But anyway, it's been a great ride. I've got Sienna bred back.
Yeah.
So she is going to hopefully have me some little Stellas here in the near future. And, and that's what I strive for, is just to get, I only generally keep one out of a litter that I'm really happy with. And I want to get just as good dogs out to other people, dogs they can get out there and show and win with,
Yeah, yeah. So we'll just run through a few accomplishments of you as a breeder, and because you're one thing about you don't talk about it much because you're very humble, and that's one thing that you've taught me: stay humble. And folks, no matter how much winning you do, that's a very, very important keynote to take down, and just to remain humble, because if not, somebody's going to humble you.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And it can happen really fast. And
don't ever think you know everything either.
Don't ever think your dog's going to be perfect every time.
Yeah.
They have bad days just like we do.
They sure do.
And Mom, you have a dog in AKC that made history. She is the first tree and walker in history to ever make Emerald Champion. What was her name?
That was Sexy and Silk.
Sexy and Silk.
Yeah, Beth Jenkins.
You bred her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we actually co-owned her for a little bit, and then they put into to own her outright, and so I went ahead and sold her.
Very nice. But so we went to Tennessee, Oh, we went to the St. Jude hunt.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so we went to St. Jude hunt. We won the St. Jude hunt. I donated to Squaller there.
And got reserve with Primo.
Yeah. We got reserve Primo. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was Tommy Lanning and Lee Kearns judged that.
Yeah.
First time I ever showed under Tommy Lanning, and he done a heck of a good job.
He did a good job.
And I don't know Tommy real well.
Yeah.
I have associated, spoke to him a few times.
Well, and that's the same with, like when we were at Winter Classic, you know.
That's what made Winter Classic great.
Amber Carroll, I always knew who she was. I know she had the Lestat dog years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But Amber hasn't been around too awful much, and I never really got to know her. So I had no idea what Amber was going to pick.
Yeah.
Scarlett, I knew Scarlett years ago.
Right.
But we were never like buddies or best friends.
Well, she kind of got out of it for a while,
Yeah.
you know, and so
she went through some life changes, and she'd been gone for a long time, and then
so when we saw her name, we were like,
don't know.
We're gonna try.
Yeah.
And then we go and we win that, and it's like, what?
Yeah, under both judges.
Under both judges, it was, and thank you guys. I mean, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It meant the world to us, but we were still kind of in limbo of, is what we got real?
Yeah.
Is Stella real? And because it's hard when you have something that's still growing.
Yeah.
And she's still, Mom, for another 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
She's got some growth. And we're talking about stunning in stilettos, and I'm sorry we're talking about her, but she's my pride and joy. I mean, she's made me love doing it again.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure, and Mom will probably vouch for this, this is the first time in many, many years you've seen me have fun in the ring. I've never had these.
Well, it's nice to get out there and fairly consistently win or be up there anyway.
Well, it's nice to be able to take a beautiful hound and put it up there and say, this is what my mom made.
Yeah.
And be able to show something that you built.
And it's so pretty.
And it's so rewarding.
Well, it's like almost like a work of art.
It is. It is. And you're an artist, and you do artwork. And you know, I can't help but think that from being an artist, your eye has to be really trained and in tune with these hounds.
You know,
what does that do as far as being an artist?
I've got to tell you too, you know, people send me their photographs of their dogs. Can you please do a photograph of my dog? And you know, a lot of y'all have done it. I've done probably 150 or so. And you know, you have to catch the essence of that animal. The eyes are so important. You have to catch the eyes of that dog and the expression of the dog. And when I send that artwork, because I put my heart and soul into I actually get tired. I get physically tired because I put so much of myself into doing them. And then when I send them back to people and they'll say something about their dog, I tell them, I know your dog. I know every nook and cranny of your dog.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, from the little ear folds to the wrinkles on the face to the eye, you know, markings to whatever that dog, I mean, I know that dog.
Yeah.
So it's kind of special too to do that. I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's something special you get to share with everybody when you get to do it.
Yeah. And you know, I do dogs that have passed.
Yeah.
And these people hang that on their wall. And that means so much to me that I can bring them a little bit of heartfelt peace. You know what I mean? And closure to them,
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun.
Did you get any of the mullet? Oh, you did? Oh, good. Yeah, mullet are jumping down here, aren't they?
Yeah, they're jumping down here. Everybody's been asking, you know, when we're going to do a podcast with me and you. And, you know, I figured we're fixing to hit 10,000 followers.
Yeah.
And it's something I've worked hard for.
Yep.
Some people said it'd never happen.
Yep.
You heard that. And so, folks, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for following us. Thank you for, you know, supporting my mom. Thank you for being there for us for all the years and all the help. The Lee Kearns, the Johnny Brinkleys, Lisa Huntsiger,
Just
so many
everybody,
people, or Megan Perez, you know, so many people out there, and then that's helped me along the way. And it's pretty cool to see all the friendships you get to meet.
Yeah.
You know, Tiffany Atkins and you.
Yeah.
You know, all these friendships you get to generate over the years.
Yeah.
And then you get this influence on Facebook that comes in, and I start making these podcasts and doing this. And I just want to say to everyone out there, thank you so much for all the support. It really and truly brings a lot of a lot of joy to us.
It does.
You know, it makes our moments bigger. You remember at Autumn Oaks in 2022, sitting around the table, and I made a promise that weekend that I was going to interview the winner.
You had to interview yourself.
Y'all made me do
Oh,
that.
that was so funny.
And that stupid video went viral. and not viral, but a lot of people watched that video.
That was good.
And I just want to say for everyone that watched that video, that really inspired me. And it was a lot of fun to do something like that.
Yeah.
And it was completely
Unexpected.
and it was not planned. And a bunch of ladies, Natalie, Drake, she was there, and everybody's sitting around the table, and they're like, well, you got to go interview yourself. And
And you did.
And I did, and we had a lot of fun. And
Yeah, what did you say? Well, folks, I told you I'd interview the winners.
Here's
Here's the winner.
Here's the winner, and it was Stella. And you know, it's really cool to be able to share these memories with so many people.
Yeah.
And now I have a video currently going almost to 1 million views.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to know there's people out there that I can share my life stories with and have fun.
Yeah.
And show where we live and how we do things around here.
Yeah.
And
all the backstories of other people as well.
all the backstories and the people you get to meet.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. I mean,
And the contacts you make.
the contacts.
It's crazy.
The contacts you make is insane.
Yeah.
And if I was to say anything for anyone out there, whether it's podcasting or whether it's breeding hounds, it's all what you put into it.
Yeah.
It's literally that simple.
Yeah.
This lady here, she worked hard. My mom, she has worked hard her whole life, has went into breeding these hounds, and I think it's just now starting to rear its head.
Yeah.
And it's something I'm very proud to say.
Yeah.
I get to handle these dogs. Because,
Well,
man,
it's something you can't make happen. It's just got to happen naturally.
it just happens, and you just, it took you how long to get this dog?
Long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah, and so we're going to enjoy every bit of it we can.
Yeah.
And that's not bragging, folks. That's just saying I love it. And I really love that little girl. So, Mom, congratulations.
Thank you.
You've had a wonderful career. And for y'all that didn't know, my mom was also a 2022 inductee into the Florida State Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor. All
Thank
right.
you.